So how big an impact are Iran's mass protests having on the clerical rule of its supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei? Tara Kangarlou is a global affairs journalist and author of The Heartbeat of Iran, and she joins me now from London. Tara, good to have you with us on the program. Now, firstly, there is near or total communications blackout in Iran, but what are you hearing from inside the country? How big are these protests, given reports at least several hundred have been killed?
Thank you so much for having me and covering the story. In the past few hours, I was able to speak with some folks in Iran and also friends who have been able to communicate with their families. And the stories and anecdotes are quite harrowing. I was able to speak with a friend who told me that two of her friends, one has died in the protests, and the other one is in a coma. And her cousin, in fact, was also shot in by a rubber bullet and unfortunately lost an eye. Another friend told me that her father, en route to Behisht Zahra, which is Tehran's main cemetery, saw trucks with bodies. And just to put things in context, reports are coming in about the government, or the hospitals rather, not releasing bodies of the dead. And according to two sources, and by the way, this information has been reported before, but this was also confirmed by sources of mine, that hospitals in Tehran, Rasht and elsewhere are asking for 700 million toman. And this is while the average salary is 13 million toman per month, just to release the bodies to family members. And this encapsulates not just the tragedy of the death toll and the brutality that protesters have faced, but also the economic toll. So the situation is quite dire when it comes to what ordinary Iranian people are facing, the human suffering. And as you mentioned, the death toll is now over 500. But again, these are verified numbers. So as we have seen before, I imagine the death toll rising so much more because it's extremely difficult to get verifiable information out of Iran. And with regards to the protests, according to the people that I've talked to on the ground, comparing to Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, the protests have somehow sporadically dwindled, but that doesn't mean that they cannot gain momentum again. Throughout the day, we see government sponsored protests in support of the regime taking the streets. So it's quite a fluid situation. But one thing that is clear is that the Iranian people are once again paying the highest price with their lives.
Yes, we have seen these mass protests happen throughout the years and decades. But do you see anything different this time around? And does it pose a major threat to the Iranian regime, perhaps the biggest since the revolution?
Another person that I spoke with actually put things in context very well. She said, Tara, if you compare these rounds of protests to what we saw in 2022, 2018, and 19, all of which have started for a host of economic, social, political reasons, and also the 2009 Green Movement, she said, this, in comparison to all those, is, in her words, apocalyptic. And we've never seen anything as such. So we really have to wait and see. This is by far unprecedented. And also, we have different groups of people coming together because, as again, many have said in various reports and also to myself, people no longer have anything to lose. The economy is in complete shamble and free fall. People cannot make ends meet. So all factions of the society, religious, secular, rich, poor, young, old, women, men, have come together in this round of protests. And I think that's what makes it quite powerful and different.
Yes, and Donald Trump in the U.S. is threatening direct confrontation should the situation get worse. Do you think that could happen? And what do you make of him claiming that Iranian leaders have called him to ask to negotiate? Do you believe that to be the case?
Yes, this is sound that we heard last night, Sunday night, from Air Force One when the president was speaking with the press. And I think over the years, we've learned multiple things from President Trump. Number one, that he's quite unpredictable. He may say one thing and do another. The second is that he wants to be the winner. And so he wants to have the final say and final call. And I think that's where we are right now. The ball is in his court. And I believe that still, as of now, there is confirmation that there's going to be a cabinet meeting on Tuesday. So I think many are looking to that. But the fact that he also said on that press briefing on Air Force One Sunday night that the Iranians have called him to negotiate also gives us the presumption that that might be a possibility. But does that mean before a military intervention or after? Who knows? But again, those paying the highest price are the Iranian people, who are caught really between the rhetorics that are coming from Washington and the brutality of the Islamic regime.
Yes. Tara, we are running out of time, but I do want to ask you briefly, why are protesters, or at least sections of them, rallying around the son of Iran's previous ruler, or Shah, Mohammad Reza Pahlavi?
To make it quick, given the time constraint that we have, over the years, he has been one of the opposition figures, but this time around, he has gained momentum. He has some supporters in Iran and outside. He is very much backed by Israel, and there have been speculations as to whether or not he's going to meet with President Trump or not. That has yet to be seen. President Trump last week said it's not, quote, appropriate for me to meet with Reza Pahlavi. But of course, as we all know, appropriateness is based on circumstance. And when circumstances change, that appropriateness for President Trump might change. But at the moment, he has emerged as an opposition leader. But again, history tells us that things are much more complicated than what they seem. So again, we need to focus on what's happening to Iranian people on the ground, who are, again, risking their lives in complete darkness. And this internet digital blackout still continues, by the way. So we need to watch very carefully and put all pressure so that the voices inside the country can reach the outside world.
Okay, Tara Kangarlou, really appreciate your insights there. Thank you so much.